This video is going to be all about how to make this super simple meal. So it happens to be gluten-free. This particular version of it has pecans in it, so if you have a nut allergy, obviously don't use the pecans. I also use smoked paprika in this, and it's not necessary, so if that's a problem, just eliminate that. So what is happening right now in the video is that I am prepping the sweet potatoes. Now these particular sweet potatoes were a little sad, a little old, so I got a little aggressive with cutting some pieces and parts out just to make sure, you know, that like it didn't have any funky bits. So as you can see, I'm using a peeler to peel them up. Now I'm kind of looking at, there's some pieces that I'm going to cut out a little bit. For these ones, I cut lengthwise first, and I use my big chef knife and very carefully cut them into those size pieces, and then in a second I'll flip them. Here we go. Okay, so I flip them and I cut, it depends on the size. So these particular ones I was able to cut into thirds essentially, and then I finish by cubing them. So all of this is done carefully, obviously. As far as knives go, I've used a chef knife, I've used a, I can't think of the other one, but a big bladed one. Obviously not a paring knife because sweet potatoes are kind of hard. I like peeling them. You don't have to peel them. I'm really terrible at remembering to wash things. I'll wash potatoes if I know they're particularly dirty or if I'm going to keep them on. But now, so all of that's cubed. It's going to go into the bowl. For this particular recipe, I think I had like 3 sweet potatoes left and I did all of them. So this video won't show me doing all of them, but it took, between helping kids with math homework and some other things, it took me about 20 minutes to prep them all, just with all of the interruptions. I think that was the funniest part of filming this video, actually, was seeing how long it actually took me to make this. And then like thinking I had all of my ingredients out, but then having to find more. So what you just saw me do on the cubing is that I had a few that weren't quite the same size, and it's better for the roasting if they're all the same size. So this one happens to be the last one. It's a smaller one, and I think there's some little bits. No, it looks like maybe I just do all of it. Yeah, I feel like I just need to fill the air because I'm just going to talk through this. So this particular recipe has roasted sweet potatoes. I cook sorghum, and then pecans and cranberries. And I like eating it with eggs, so I will eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It makes me happy. I enjoy eating it, and the colors are really pretty. So I'm gonna clean up my workspace because I like cleaning things up, and let's see what happens next. Okay, so now I'm going to start gathering my ingredients. As you'll see through the video, there's a whole bunch of times where I don't have exactly what I thought I did, or what I needed, which, you know, that's sort of what happens. So what you can't see is me getting things out of the cupboard. The white bottle, or the clear bottle with the white top, is olive oil. And then I have my molasses. This is just the mixture I like to use. You can change and do different herbs, whatever you want. If you don't like molasses or can't eat molasses, then just don't use it. It's a pretty forgiving recipe in my mind. So roasted sweet potatoes are pretty forgiving. The sorghum is really simple to cook. And then the pecans and cranberries just add extra. So I happen to be out of pepper, like a regular pepper jar. So the red top is like a mix black and red pepper thing I've had for way too long. And then the smoked paprika jar is what's in the middle there. I also like using Cajun seasoning. I found that when I make my food more complex taste-wise. I feel more satisfied even though I'm not eating bread. And then that last green jar was salt, just regular table salt. So I'm putting on the olive oil, and that just sort of goes all over everything. And then I put on the molasses next. And that goes all over everything. I love the way this looks. Like, it just makes me happy making it. I really enjoy making this meal. It's super fun. What you didn't see there was I actually knocked the phone over and it crashes. So after I put the olive oil on and the molasses on, I go through and I stir it up. Then I add the table salt to the sweet potatoes, the pepper. The only thing that I really do in order is the olive oil and the molasses. After that, it's kind of like a free-for-all. So you can see I'm really careful about my measuring. I just want to make sure you saw that it was the Cajun I picked up. The Cajun's fun to do because you kind of squeeze the bottle and it like blows all over. Just be careful you don't like get it in your face. That's super not fun. So stir, stir, stir. So I stirred after the olive oil and the molasses. I stir again after these guys. And what you're going to see in a second is me remembering that I actually put some other things on here too. And that I should add more things. So this looks like it's the smoked paprika going on. And like I said before, if it's not something you can have, just don't use it. It doesn't... I know that it enhances it. So what I went and looked for was the oregano. I thought I had all my ingredients out and had to go find the oregano. So I put a little bit of that on there. Again, really excited about measuring. Stir it up. Stir, stir, stir. We're going to keep stirring. And stirring. I feel like we need to sing Just Keep Swimming. Just Keep Swimming. Oh yeah, and lemon juice. I always forget about the lemon juice. So again, I measure a little bit here, but I still don't use like a tablespoon or a teaspoon. I think the funniest part of making this video was forgetting that I made it vertical and then trying to make sure that my hands and everything was in the frame still. So this recipe originally came from something my mom made. She found a recipe that was like a pork loin and then this mixture of sorghum and sweet potatoes. And what we were trying to use was the sorghum initially. And I just loved the setup so much, I just made it. So I use wax paper or baking. I don't have to look at the box again. But basically I use this in my baking sheets or baking pans because it's easier to clean up. You just pour in the sweet potatoes and then you'll watch me smash them all around. I really love the way I call it, it's a marinade essentially. You're marinating your sweet potatoes. I totally like the bowl. It's super yummy because it makes me happy. So smash them around a bit, even them out. And see me adjusting to make sure you can see what I'm doing. So once you sort of have them flattened around a little bit, what I'm going to do next in the video is I find a pair of scissors and then cut the edges of the paper off because you don't want to put the paper sticking up like that in your oven, fire hazard. So I cut down as far as I'm comfortable, usually below the lip of the baking pan. And that just makes sure that it doesn't catch fire or something. And this just makes cleanup so much easier afterwards. All right, so I preheat the oven to 425. That happened before I started prepping. And then I just put it on essentially in the middle of the oven. I only have 2 racks, so it's in the middle of the oven. And then the timer gets set for 30 minutes. And you're gonna watch me put it 30 minutes, ta-da, and it's off to the races. So now we're gonna prep the sorghum. I happen to use the Bob's Red Mill. It comes in that looking bag. It's freaking fantastic. They have 3 different types of instructions on the back. The stovetop, I think the microwave was on there, and then I happen to use an Instant Pot because that's what I have. Or I have one, so I use an Instant Pot, which makes it pretty simple. So it's 1 to 3. So what you'll see me do is measure out 1 cup of sorghum, very carefully because, little thingies everywhere. And then what you want to do is you should wash the sorghum before you cook it. I do actually do this in the video. I don't always, that's me double checking the directions. I don't always wash it. If I'm in a rush, I won't. So I've already put water in it. I sort of like swish it around. I usually do this in the sink because it can be messy. You drain the water, and then you put 3 cups of water in. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So from there, I get my, put a little bit of salt in. Just, super specific about measuring. Then I pour the whole thing into the Instant Pot. For the purpose of the video, I pulled the thing out. I don't normally. And then I go through and, you can use a spatula, use your hand, whatever. Try to get all of the things out of the doohickey. Then you set your Instant Pot and use the pressure cooker feature. You'll set it for 30 minutes, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, 30 minutes. And then my always defaults and has the keep warm button on, so turn the keep warm button off, and then hit your start button. And so this is it, everything done. So the sweet potatoes are roasted, the sorghum is finished, and you just mix it all up together. And the finish out on the Instant Pot is the sorghum. So we're going to put some pecans in. You'll see again, I'm super careful about how I measure. There's a handful. And then I was like, I want a couple more, so I put a little more in. And then we'll do the cranberries next. So on the Instant Pot for the sorghum, just follow the instructions on the bag. If there aren't any on the bag for some reason, I would look those up online. So those are just cranberries from Aldi's. And again, super specific about how I measure. And then you just mix it up. And I love the colors. They make me really happy. I love, like I said, having it with eggs in the morning. If you're feeling super excited, some hot sauce. And it's nice and complex. And I've also eaten it with spinach. It works out that way as well. And that's it. That's all we got.